take his phone Friday night, Shabbat Shalom, throw it in the junk drawer, and he would come in, open the junk drawer. Everyone has a junk drawer. Open the junk drawer, said Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom? Either she's soft launching that he was about to become Jewish, or her handler said, hey, put something in for us.
I asked Grok, do Christians say Shabbat Shalom? And the response was no. Christians typically do not say Shabbat Shalom. Most Christians observe Sunday as the Lord's Day in commemoration of Jesus' resurrection, and they do not have a comparable Sabbath greeting.
So Erika Kirk is back at it again, pushing the operation Shabbat Shalom. And she's out here telling Christians they need to honor God by observing Sabbath on Saturday, not Sunday. But most Christians observe Sunday as the Lord's Day. So what's the agenda here? On May 31st, Erika posted a clip of her and Charlie talking about Sabbath, and she wrote in the caption, "Honor God, go to church, spend time with your family. I am so grateful for the ways my husband led us in this. Spending one day a week unplugged tremendously blessed our family, and I know it will bless yours."
I love my husband, and he's amazing and an intentional father and husband, but him honoring the Sabbath, I have seen it transform him in a way that is so powerful that when he turns his phone off and it goes in that drawer, and I know that it's, he's all on for the family.
So my point here is not that Erika is lying about Charlie keeping the Sabbath. She's not. Charlie talked about honoring the Sabbath in several interviews. But there are two things that stick out. First of all, there isn't a single interview or clip from his show where Charlie used the Shabbat Shalom greeting. And yet, literally weeks after his assassination, Erika goes on a media tour and starts peddling this story about Charlie throwing his phone in the junk drawer and saying Shabbat Shalom. And it was just bizarre how she kept repeating the exact same story in every interview. Take a look.
Take his phone Friday night, Shabbat Shalom, throw it in the junk drawer, and he would come in, open the junk drawer. Everyone has a junk drawer. Open the junk drawer, said Shabbat Shalom, put it in there, turn the phone off, slam the door. And on Friday night, when he would get home from work, he would turn off his phone and he would shove it in the junk drawer and he would say Shabbat Shalom, shove it in the drawer.
Now again, I'm not claiming Charlie didn't keep the Sabbath. He said it from his own mouth that he chose to honor the Sabbath because it's a part of God's commands. But I do wonder why Erika is so intent on making this look more traditionally Jewish than it really was. Think about it. How many Christians do you know who walk around saying Shabbat Shalom? That's just not a thing. And sure, some Christians do observe a Sabbath whether it's Saturday or Sunday. But even then, they're not using that phrase as a greeting. Also, Charlie himself said it doesn't matter whether you choose Saturday or Sunday, so clearly he wasn't observing a Jewish tradition. Because for Jewish people, the Sabbath begins at sunset on Friday and ends at nightfall on Saturday. Their holy day is always observed on Saturday, not Sunday. And here's Charlie saying that it doesn't matter what day you pick.
It actually doesn't matter that much. What does matter is I think that to our own detriment and to our own failure, we as Christians have decided to cast away resting on one of the 7 days. And it says very clearly in the scriptures, for 6 days you shall work, and the seventh day you shall rest. If you are feeling overrun by society, you might be feeling depressed or anxious, here's just one way that you might be able to improve. Turn your phone off for 1 day. No contact, no social media, no work. Your mental health will improve dramatically.
So Charlie's whole point is to simply observe one rest day and focus on the family. So here's my question to you. Why is Erika so obsessed with pushing this idea that Charlie kept the Jewish Sabbath specifically? Why did she start pushing that Shabbat Shalom story after Charlie died, but we never actually heard him say those words? Doesn't that strike you as a little odd? In fact, doesn't it almost feel like she's trying to erase Charlie's Christian faith and instead paint him as something he wasn't? Think about it. What's also a huge red flag, in my opinion, is that Erika will obsessively talk about this whole Shabbat Shalom thing and share clips of Charlie talking about the Sabbath. But she hasn't said one word about Charlie being pressured and bullied by his Jewish donors, and those are his words, not mine. You've probably seen this already, but here it is again. This is what Charlie wrote in leaked text messages before his assassination. Jewish donors play into all the stereotypes. I cannot and will not be bullied like this, leaving me no choice but to abandon the pro-Israel cause. Even Times of Israel reported on this, and it literally says in their article published in October 2025, those messages surfaced and were confirmed as authentic this week. So Charlie was leaving the pro-Israel cause before his assassination, and he complained about Jewish donors bullying him. That's not a conspiracy. That's Charlie's words. And if you still doubt those messages, here's Charlie telling Megyn Kelly the same thing just weeks before he was assassinated.
But it goes to the point where, if, for example, if I have less ability sometimes online to criticize the Israeli government without backlash than actual Israelis do. It's
been
almost
so
as if
unfair.
you,
they were coming after you after Turning Point for, among other things, that you had Dave Smith there. Dave Smith is allowed to criticize Israel. You had both sides. The Israeli side was overrepresented.
No, you're not allowed to. It's even worse than that. Well, you and I believe that we're Americans and Americans first. Period. End of story. We are citizens of this nation. Honestly, the way you are treating me is so repulsive. I have text messages, Megyn, calling me an anti-Semite. But my moral character is now being put into question, Megyn. Not my decisions. Not like, hey, are you doing this? Is it smart or is it dumb? But no, I am a bad person if I do this.
And then there's also this clip that's really hard to find now for some reason.
I gotta be careful the way I say this. They're gonna try to ethnically cleanse Gaza.
So now we know how Charlie felt about this issue. We don't have to speculate on it. But the part that's really, really strange is that Erika won't even touch this topic. You would think that as a widow, she would be interested in learning more about who those donors were who bullied Charlie. What exactly did they say to him? Was Charlie threatened? Those seem like way more important topics to discuss than Charlie supposedly saying Shabbat Shalom every Friday after work. So I need you to think critically here. You can't just focus on what Erika Kirk is saying. You also have to ask yourself why she's saying it. What's the real agenda behind this Shabbat Shalom story? See, if this was just a sweet little family anecdote, she wouldn't be repeating it word for word in every single interview. And when someone in the public space keeps repeating something robotically, they're trying to drill it into your brain so you accept it as fact and never question it. A lot of Christian voters assume the Sabbath is Sunday, but by Erika repeatedly saying Shabbat is Saturday, whether she says it outright or just implies it with the Shabbat Shalom greeting, do you see what she's doing? She's basically saying Christianity is the same as Judaism. Also, this junk drawer story is warm, it's uncontroversial, it's safe. Erika talks about Charlie coming home from work to his family to appeal to conservatives. Then she throws in the junk drawer detail. Most people have a junk drawer, but you don't expect others to talk about it. So suddenly you feel this sense of community. Oh, they're just like us. And then she repeats it every single interview because it crowds out the hard questions. It's a classic distraction or humanizing tactic. And that's exactly why I told you that you have to think critically about this. I mean, Erika herself said it, nothing is by coincidence.
But just know that nothing is by mistake. Nothing. Nothing is by coincidence.
Now look, if you spend too much time on social media, which we all do, it's easy to get distracted. You focus on Erika's weird behavior, her eyes, the way she talks, her wardrobe, makeup. You've got memes, comedy skits. People even made songs and remixes sampling her Shabbat Shalom interviews. But honestly, I think that's completely counterproductive. Because all of that, the jokes, the memes, etc., it turns Erika's whole persona into something for entertainment. And that's how they distract you. Remember how during Diddy's trial, we were flooded with all those memes and baby oil jokes? That was by design. It was meant to distract people from Diddy's real crimes and the people who enabled and funded him. And that's why you have to focus on the why. Why was she pushed into the spotlight as soon as Charlie was gone? Why is she now repeating these same stories in every interview? What is her real agenda? Or I should say, the agenda of her handlers. Because don't sit there and think for 1 second that any of this is a coincidence. Nothing Erika says is off the cuff. Everything from that junk drawer mention, the Shabbat Shalom story, it's all straight from a script they gave her. And then you also have to think about what she's not saying. She's not talking about Charlie's messages where he said he was bullied by his donors. She's not talking about Charlie saying he's leaving the pro-Israel cause. In fact, I would say she's literally twisting his words. Take a look at this.
Charlie and I have always been very clear on our stance. Israel, Jewish people.
So again, why would she say that when we know for a fact that Charlie changed his stance on Israel? He said it himself. This is how propaganda works, and you have to be very careful and not just focus on the surface level stuff. This isn't just about Erika being weird or creepy or annoying or whatever people want to call her. No, no, no. This is about something much bigger. What's the agenda behind all of this, and who is really pulling the strings? You let me know what you think in the comments, and as always, question everything.